Hello, divine creations, divine marvels, children of God. A very warm welcome to this channel and video to anyone who's new. This channel is dedicated to the life, work, and teachings of a very bright soul named Bruno Groening. You can find out more about him and his teachings here on this channel or on my website, which I've put a link in the chat box and down below. So I had the very good fortune to be introduced to Bruno Groening's teachings, oh my heavens, 12 years ago. It's been quite a journey, and I've shared parts of that journey here on this channel. And I feel that I had a pretty deep insight last night, which I want to share. And that is really taking to heart who and what I am. So let's backtrack a moment to Bruno's teachings. Bruno said the only necessary thing is that one, or you, or the human being, attain, I don't know the German word, I'm going to have to look it up, but self-knowledge or self-recognition. He said that's the only necessary thing. That's a very deep statement. I've been reflecting on it. I think I first heard it about 10 years ago. I'd been connected to Bruno for about 2 years before I heard that statement. And when I read it, it's like, okay, that's a deep statement. And it also struck me because you can find a very similar teaching in lots of different wisdom or spiritual traditions, such as the philosophy and the wisdom of India. That the goal of life, the word that they use is self-realization, to really come to know who and what you are in truth, in essence, underneath sort of body and opinions, and you could even say maybe personality. What's the deepest truth of ourselves? So I've been, before I found Bruno's teachings, I was very deeply connected to the Vedic, which is a fancy way of saying the philosophies of India, the Vedic approach to life and seeking self-realization. But when I found Bruno Groening's teachings, I sort of put all that aside. I'm not exactly sure how and why, but there was just something about Bruno Groening and his teaching that really grabbed me. So I've been reflecting on this statement from a kind of a point of view of more of what Bruno taught, as opposed to the things that the other philosophies I had learned. And another very deep thing that Bruno Groening said is, I am for learning. I am for growth, because everything that is alive grows. So again, not a complicated statement per se. But then when I took that and I added in this idea that Bruno said that life is a school. He was very adamant that life is a school, and specifically life in a body on this earth. He was very firm that it was a school. And he was also very firm that it was a kind of spiritual and cosmic game. Now, game can be a little bit of a dangerous word, because we can think, just something you don't take seriously. And he very much called people to take it seriously. And then the last teaching of his that I've said many times, and I start almost every video with, that we human beings are a divine creation, a divine marvel, literally something worthy of marveling. When I put all those together, what comes, kind of the conclusion I come to, is that I and you and we are souls on a very vast journey that has to do with learning, with growth, and that also has to do with contending with this force that Bruno called bosse, nastiness, viciousness, evil. and ultimately to overcome that force. And so what I'm saying is probably not anything that is new to most people who are on this channel. But it's one thing to believe it, and it's another thing to live as if it's true. And that's kind of the realization that came to me last night, is to really not just to believe that I am a soul on this vast journey, but to really look at life through that angle. You could say to take that on as a perspective, or said another way, to look at life through the lens, literally through the perspective of I am a soul on a vast journey of learning and growth. And as Bruno Groening said, becoming a master of life. And that big part of that is facing challenges and overcoming evil in this school of life. So these are ideas, but to view life through those lenses, to everything, to look at everything that happens through that perspective, not just for me to just think about it every now and then, be like, I'm a soul, this is a vast journey, but to day by day live my life with this view, with this perspective. Let it inform my choices. Let it inform my thinking. So to backtrack to the first thing I said, Bruno Groening said, the only necessary thing is that you attain self-recognition or self-knowledge. So what would life be like? And I intend to conduct this experiment, and I'll let you know the results I get. What would it be like life to fundamentally view and approach life through this perspective? I'm a soul on a vast journey. Some parts of this journey are very challenging. Some parts of this journey are very wondrous. And I am on this vast journey towards becoming a spiritual master. Bruno didn't talk about it often, to my knowledge, but over and over and over, he talked about this idea of spiritual mastery. And saying, in essence, what I am, you are, or you are learning how to be like me. He once said, I get up on the stage again and show you how life is meant to be lived. How if you had, and that first part I'm quoting, the second part is more of a paraphrase, how if you had held on to the true faith, this is how life would have been for you. A life of connection to God, a life of faith, a life of being guided. So this is all very philosophical, and I'm a very philosophical kind of guy, but I also try to be a very practical kind of guy. And that's the shift I'm talking about, of taking these beliefs and really approaching life with them. Really, you could say, interpreting what happens through this lens. So it's like right here, right now, who or what am I? It's kind of fun to ask, what am I? Who or what am I? What am I doing here? And what's the purpose of my life? I want to learn to live life where I have not only do I have clear answers to these questions, because I feel like I have clear answers to these questions, but to moment by moment live out and embody this view, this perspective. I am a divine soul on a vast learning journey, some of which is wondrous, some of which is very challenging. All of this taking place within a school that is guided by God, and to a certain extent by masters, by helpers and spiritual friends such as Bruno Groening. So I'm on a soul on this vast learning journey, facing challenge, overcoming challenge in a school guided by God. On this process towards becoming a spiritual master, becoming more like Bruno. And if I dare to say it, becoming more like Christ. Sadly, the way Christ's teachings got crystallized by Christianity, it's considered blasphemy to say that. To even aspire to be more like Christ. I can't claim to speak for Jesus. I can only share my intuitive and felt sense, is that Jesus would much rather us strive to be like him than to worship him. There's nothing wrong with, in my view, praise and worship of a spiritual master. I don't think he came here. Well, Bruno said that Christ came to show us the way. So those are a few of my thoughts this morning. I'm going to go take on the day with the recognition that I am a divine creation on a vast journey, a vast learning journey, some of which is quite challenging, in a divinely guided and orchestrated school that ultimately, just like Bruno, just like Christ, just like other masters, the Buddha is another being over the years I've have profound respect for. I may overcome evil and become a master of life. That I can help other people who are literally caught and swimming in a sea of evil. So thank you so very much for joining in. I wish you a blessed day of staying connected to the divine, seeking to be guided by the divine, and living out, embodying the spiritual beliefs or spiritual paradigm and that resonate the most with you. Andy, thanks for saying hi. You are so very welcome. Take care, beautiful souls, divine creations, divine marvels, children of God.